In a twist no one saw coming, Prince Harry has just boarded a last-minute flight from California back to the UK, and the royal world is in utter chaos. What could have shaken the Duke of Sussex so badly that he dropped everything: his family, his commitments, even his security, to rush across the Atlantic? Well, the answer comes in the form of a man no one expected to be the catalyst for this royal hurricane: Tyler Perry. Yes, that Tyler Perry, the entertainment mogul who once opened his Beverly Hills mansion to Harry and Meghan during their darkest hour, has just released tapes that could rip apart everything we thought we knew about the royal exit, Meghan's feud with the firm, and the real reason Harry left it all behind. According to sources close to Perry, the tapes contain explosive voice recordings, secretly captured video, and messages that allegedly reveal private conversations between Harry, Meghan, and key royal family members, some of which are said to contradict everything the couple claimed in their Netflix documentary and that infamous Oprah interview. The internet is already on fire, with hashtags like #TylerTapes and #HarryFliesHome trending across Twitter and TikTok. Meanwhile, royal insiders are scrambling to do damage control as whispers of betrayal, lies, and ultimate humiliation ripple through Buckingham Palace. Fans are stunned. Why would Tyler do this now? One asked. Well, another wrote, if these tapes are real, the entire royal narrative just got flipped upside down. And amid this media frenzy, a panicked Harry has reportedly landed in London under the radar, skipping even his usual security arrangements to handle the situation personally. Some say he's returning to confront his father, King Charles, while others believe he's trying to prevent even more tapes from leaking. But what's really on those recordings? And why would Tyler Perry, once hailed as the Sussex's guardian angel, turn the tables so savagely? Is this personal, or is it revenge dressed in royal scandal? One thing's for sure, the monarchy may never be the same after what's about to come out. Keep watching, because we're about to unpack everything: the betrayal, the fury, the shocking content of the tapes, and Harry's desperate attempt to contain the fallout. This story has it all, and it's only just beginning. The moment Harry touched down at Heathrow, the air felt heavier, thicker with unspoken truths and royal secrets clawing their way into the daylight. The airport staff didn't swarm like they usually did. There was no official welcome, no photographers, no aides. Just Harry, his coat collar flipped high, his cap pulled low, and eyes darting like a man on the brink of something catastrophic. He hadn't even told Meghan he was leaving. She found out when she woke up to an empty bed and a silent phone. And now, in London, everything felt colder, more hostile. Because the world had just heard what Tyler Perry had dropped, and Harry was caught in the eye of a storm he never saw coming. It started just 24 hours earlier. Tyler Perry, in a cryptic Instagram live, had said only 9 words before logging off. It's time the truth came out, no more silence. Within minutes, a Dropbox link circulated online, allegedly leaked by a former staffer, and what followed was a series of jaw-dropping audio clips, voice notes, and one particularly blurry but damning video. The first voice note was unmistakable. It was Meghan, tense and exhausted, saying, "Harry still doesn't know what I said to Charles. I couldn't tell him. Not yet." That alone was enough to send conspiracy theorists and royal watchers into a frenzy. But it got worse, much worse. The video, filmed from a discreet corner of what appeared to be Tyler's own home, showed Meghan pacing, speaking rapidly on the phone. "If they ever find out what we planned before leaving," she says in the clip, "they'll never forgive us, especially William." That was the moment the internet broke. The phrase "what we planned" ignited every tabloid in the UK and every gossip page in LA. Was the royal exit not what they claimed? Was the Oprah interview rehearsed? Were the Sussexes hiding a far deeper betrayal? Back in LA, Meghan was blindsided. When news of the tapes hit, she was reportedly hosting a small garden party with close friends and charity partners. According to one guest, Meghan went pale, clutched her phone, and whispered, "He promised me he'd never share that." Within minutes, she was on the phone with Perry's assistant only to be met with silence and then a blunt text. The truth is out now. Let it breathe. Meanwhile, Harry was in total panic mode. He had called Perry 12 times, no answer. His messages, "This isn't what we agreed. You're making it worse. Tell me you didn't do this," all left on read. According to a source close to the Duke, Harry was completely blindsided and devastated, especially by the final clip in the leak. A voice recording of him and Meghan having what sounded like a very raw, very unguarded argument. "I gave up everything for you," Harry says in a choked voice. Meghan responds, "No, you gave up everything because you wanted to. Don't put that on me." The fight ends with a long silence, followed by the sound of a door slamming. And that's when Harry made the decision to fly. Alone, no entourage, no PR team. Just Harry, desperately trying to get ahead of a fire he could no longer control. On the way to the airport, he reportedly told a close friend via text, "If this gets worse, I might not have a family left to go back to." It was clear. This was bigger than a PR nightmare. This was existential. Inside the royal circles, the tapes were received with fury and disbelief. King Charles, already fragile from health concerns and struggling to unify a fractured monarchy, was said to be inconsolably angry. Sources claim he listened to the recordings in private, then threw his headphones across the room, reportedly, shouting, "He betrayed all of us. He lied to me." Queen Camilla was seen leaving the room in tears, while palace aides were instructed to prepare a rapid response, but none came. The silence from Buckingham Palace spoke volumes. Prince William, perhaps the most deeply affected, was reportedly seething. He and Harry had been on shaky ground for years, but this was war. According to insiders, William canceled all public appearances and retreated to Anmore Hall, refusing to speak to anyone except Kate. One aide said, "He's done. This is beyond repair." But it wasn't just about hurt feelings. Some of the leaked audio allegedly included Meghan referencing sensitive financial arrangements, private emails, and plans for media deals that dated before their official departure from royal duties. If proven true, it could mean serious legal consequences and a complete shattering of the Sussex's carefully constructed narrative. Even fans were turning. Online, former supporters were split. "I defended Meghan for years," one fan tweeted, "but if these tapes are real, I don't know anymore." Others speculated that Perry had been recording the couple the entire time, perhaps as insurance or maybe even blackmail. But why now? Why would someone so close to them betray them so spectacularly? Some believe it was fallout from a recent business deal gone sour between Meghan and Perry's production company. Others suggest Perry grew tired of being used as a pawn in a game of palace chess. Whatever the reason, the damage was done and Harry had landed in a very cold London to try and clean up a mess that may be beyond salvaging. Just hours after his arrival, Harry was spotted entering Clarence's house through a discreet side entrance. No cameras, no smiles, just tension. He was meeting his father face to face for the first time in months and under the worst circumstances imaginable. According to a palace insider, the meeting was icy, with long silences and raised voices. Charles reportedly demanded answers about the recordings, the planning allegations, and why Harry never warned them that such tapes even existed. "You've humiliated this family," he is said to have told Harry. "Do you even understand what you've done?" Harry, trying to remain calm, reportedly responded, "I didn't know he was recording us. I didn't know any of this would come out." But Charles wasn't buying it. "You chose this path," he snapped, "and now it's come back for all of us." What neither of them knew was that another tape was already scheduled to drop in less than 24 hours, and this one would be even worse. And then, boom, just as Harry left Clarence's house emotionally wrecked and visibly trembling, the second bomb dropped. Tyler Perry, silent since his last cryptic live, posted a tweet that simply said, "Part 2, no edits. You deserve it." Alongside it was a new link, this time to a 17-minute video montage featuring never-before-seen footage, time-stamped voice memos, and perhaps the most damaging element yet, a private conversation between Meghan Markle and Doria Ragland, her own mother. In the recording, Meghan is heard confiding to her mother about her plans months before the official stepping down announcement. "We're going to play this smart," Meghan says calmly, sipping from what looks like a wine glass. "We won't say anything yet, but we already have 2 major deals lined up. One with Netflix, the other with Spotify. Once we're out, it's go time." Doria replies supportively, "As long as you protect yourself, baby. You know how they play." Meghan laughs an uncomfortable, knowing laugh. "They think we're drowning, Mom, but we're building the boat under the water." That line, "building the boat under the water," became the new catchphrase of betrayal across tabloids and social media. It confirmed what the royals had feared all along, that Harry and Meghan's departure was not a spontaneous cry for freedom, but a premeditated strategy cloaked in victimhood. And now, fans were furious. Online comments exploded. "So this was all planned? They lied to Oprah." Did Harry even know about all this? Inside Buckingham Palace, things went from bad to worse. Prince William reportedly broke a glass during a closed-door meeting with senior advisors. "This was manipulation, calculated," he said, pacing the room. "They weaponized our silence and monetized our misery." Kate, normally the picture of calm diplomacy, was reportedly in tears. "We tried," she whispered to a royal aide. "I invited her in, we all did, and this is how she repaid us." Even Queen Camilla, often painted as the steel spine of the family, was said to be shaken. "She's always been a rock," a palace staffer said. But this has her rattled. The family feels invaded, exploited. The Queen reportedly called an emergency meeting with the palace's crisis communications team, urging, "We must show strength, but not cruelty, dignity. We won't sink to their level." Meanwhile, back in LA, Meghan had gone silent. No posts, no appearances, not even a press release from Archewell. Rumors swirled that she'd fired her entire PR team. Paparazzi staked out the Montecito mansion, desperate for a glimpse. But nothing, until finally, she emerged looking pale, dressed in black, and clutching a phone tightly to her ear. One witness claimed she was overheard saying, "He's gone back. Without even telling me, he thinks I set him up." And indeed, Harry did feel set up. Insiders claim he hadn't spoken more than 5 words to Meghan since landing in London. "You knew, didn't you?" he reportedly texted. "You let him tape all of it." Meghan's reply, if there was one, never surfaced. Now the public was divided. On one side, the hashtag Team Harry supporters sympathetic to a man caught between loyalty and love. On the other, hashtag Justice for Wills and hashtag Royals Wronged began trending, with users declaring that the Sussexes had manipulated public empathy for personal gain. Late-night talk shows had a field day. Jimmy Fallon joked, "Turns out Harry and Meghan weren't ex-royals, they were executive producers." Memes flooded the internet, portraying Tyler Perry as the new Simon Cowell of royal drama. But there was still one person we hadn't heard from, and when she finally broke her silence, it stunned everyone. Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell, released a tearful, exclusive interview on morning television. "If Diana were alive today," he said, voice cracking, "she'd be devastated. Not by Harry leaving, but by the lies, the secrets, the pain this has caused William and Charles." Viewers were gripped, tears, anger, betrayal. It had all come full circle. The very family Diana tried to protect was now imploding under the weight of manipulation and mistrust. And yet, Tyler Perry wasn't done. Just days later, in what is now being called the final tape, Harry posted one last piece of footage, grainy, shaky, but unmistakably real. It shows Harry alone in a garden at night, believed to be Tyler's backyard, pacing with a glass of whiskey in one hand and a phone in the other. His voice is low, tired, and cracked with emotion. I don't know who I am anymore. He says I love her, but I don't recognize who I've become. If my mom could see me now. The video ends abruptly, but the damage lingers. Every major news network covered it. Every royal commentator weighed in. And for the first time in years, Harry appeared truly alone. Meghan, despite issuing a brief statement denying any knowledge of recordings, remained largely silent. Tyler Perry, when asked for comment, said only this: "Some truths are too big to keep hidden, even from your friends." And now, with his relationships in tatters, his public image shaken, and the royal family more fractured than ever, Prince Harry stands at a crossroads. Will he try to reconcile with his brother, return to Meghan, or walk away from it all and disappear, once and for all? Because when betrayal comes from the very people you trust most, there is no script for what happens next. The tension in London didn't ease the next day. In fact, it thickened like fog settling over a battlefield. Inside Kensington Palace, William was livid, no longer the calm, measured heir he was a brother scorned. "He sold us out," William reportedly told his senior advisor. And now he's pretending he's the victim. Kate had tried to play peacekeeper, begging William to stay level-headed. But her efforts were in vain. "You're not just angry at Harry," she whispered. "You're heartbroken, admit it." And she wasn't wrong. Deep down, William was. Heartbroken. This wasn't just about reputations or media spin. It was about a brotherhood that had once meant everything. A bond that had survived the loss of their mother, the pressures of royalty, and the madness of global scrutiny. And now, thanks to a series of recordings and a betrayal by a trusted friend, that bond was in ashes. William wasn't just questioning Harry, he was questioning whether Harry had ever truly intended to walk away peacefully. "He said he was protecting his family," William said bitterly. "But he left us bleeding so he could play hero." Meanwhile, Charles had gone into isolation. No meetings, no appearances. Even Camilla, his rock, had reportedly been told, "Leave me alone, I need to think." According to palace sources, the king was contemplating something drastic, revoking Harry and Meghan's royal titles entirely. The phrase "stripped of Sussex" began making rounds through insider circles, but Charles hesitated. Not because he wasn't furious, but because, despite everything, he was still a father. And deep inside, that father still wanted his son. Back in LA, Meghan was scrambling to save face. Behind closed doors, she convened emergency calls with her PR strategists and legal team. One of her close aides allegedly leaked that Meghan didn't know Tyler had recordings but had been assured they'd never be made public. This wasn't the plan. She reportedly cried during a phone call. "He betrayed me too." But many in the public weren't buying it. The narrative was crumbling. Spotify had already distanced itself from future projects. Netflix issued a vague statement about reevaluating partnerships. The empire Meghan had worked so hard to build was beginning to crack, and Harry was unraveling. Holed up in a private cottage on Windsor grounds, he refused contact with anyone except a single longtime friend from his army days. That friend spoke anonymously to a reporter, saying, "I've never seen him like this. He's not sleeping. He's not eating. He keeps saying, 'What if I've lost everyone now?'" The friend even claimed Harry had considered not returning to the US. Not yet, not ever. "He doesn't know where he belongs anymore," the friend said. "He left the firm, but he's not sure if he still has a family." Then came the twist no one expected. A new voice entered the conversation, someone who hadn't spoken in years. Tom Markle, Meghan's estranged father. In an exclusive interview with a British tabloid, Tom dropped a revelation that detonated like a bomb. "Meghan was always 3 steps ahead," he said. "She told me once before she even married Harry that she could reshape the monarchy from the outside." Those were her words. "I thought she was being dramatic. Now, I think she meant every word." The quote sent shockwaves across both sides of the Atlantic. Was this all part of a long game, a grand plan to dethrone an institution by pretending to be its victim? Royal defenders seized on the quote as proof of their claims. Meghan loyalists accused Tom of exploiting his daughter for profit again. But the damage was done. The narrative had shifted again. And just when things couldn't get worse, they did. A third drop from Tyler Perry, this one, completely. Unannounced, surfaced on a rogue Vimeo link, watermarked only with the phrase, "The final betrayal." In this tape, Meghan is heard speaking to an unknown confidant believed to be a high-profile Hollywood agent. In it, she says, "Harry's useful, but at some point, the story will need to be mine." The voice on the other end chuckles, "You'll be the lead, Meg. You always are." And Meghan, she laughs, not just any laugh. A confident, knowing, almost villainous laugh. The tape went viral in seconds. News anchors didn't even try to act shocked anymore. "We're in uncharted territory," one BBC correspondent said live on air. What started as a modern love story has mutated into a psychological thriller with no end in sight. Headlines around the world screamed betrayal. Is Meghan the mastermind? Was Harry just a pawn? Royal Game of Thrones. The Sussex saga spirals. And Harry, he'd seen the video too. Alone in that Windsor cottage, he watched it on his iPad. No security, no staff, no Meghan. Just him and a single tear tracing down his face, according to a source close to him. Harry didn't even speak after the clip ended. He just whispered one word. Why he spent the next 24 hours off-grid, no one knew where he went. Some speculated he visited Diana's grave. Others believed he returned to Frogmore Cottage one last time. But wherever he went, he came. Back changed, quiet, resigned, as if accepting that the life he'd built, everything he'd fought for, was not what he thought. And so, he did the unthinkable. He reached out to William. A single text, "I want to see you, just you, no press, no PR, just us." William didn't respond right away. He stared at the message for hours. His aides said he looked haunted, torn between rage and longing. Because despite everything, this was still his brother. Still the boy he'd played in the garden with. Still the partner in crime when they snacked sweets out of the pantry at Kensington. And finally, William replied. 2 words, tomorrow, noon, and just like that, after years of silence, scandals, and Shakespearean betrayal, the 2 princes were about to meet face to face. But would it be reconciliation or the final break? The meeting was set for noon at a secluded wing of Kensington Palace, far from cameras, courtiers, and crisis managers. Just 2 brothers, no security details, no aides, no Meghan, no Kate. The mood in the air was electric, the anticipation across the globe unbearable. Journalists camped outside, watching the palace gates like hawks. Social media boiled with live speculation. Will Harry apologize? Will William forgive? Or is this the beginning of royal exile, permanent and public? Inside, the clock ticked louder than ever. Harry arrived first, early, alone, dressed in muted gray and visibly thinner. He sat in silence at a long oak table once used by Queen Victoria herself. His hands trembled, his eyes glassy. And though he looked like a prince, he felt like a ghost haunted by choices that couldn't be undone. William entered 10 minutes later, face taut, shoulders squared, jaw clenched. For a full minute, neither of them spoke. They just stared, 2 lives that had once run parallel, now ripped apart by media, memory, and mistrust. Then finally William broke the silence. Why, Harry? His voice was low, sharp, almost cracked. Why did you do this to us, Harry? Didn't answer right away. He looked at the floor, then up, then straight into his brother's eyes. I didn't know Perry was recording. I swear to you, William, I didn't know. William scoffed. You always don't know. You didn't know the interviews would tear our family apart. You didn't know the memoir would feel like betrayal. You didn't know this. At some point, Harry, ignorance becomes complicity. Harry's voice cracked. "I was trying to protect my wife." "No," William snapped. "You were trying to protect your image. You weaponized Mum's name. You turned the world against us. You made me the villain." A heavy silence fell. Then Harry genuinely, painfully whispered, "I lost myself. I don't know who I am anymore. And I think I hurt the one person I always swore to protect, you." For a flicker of a second, William's hardened exterior faltered, just for a blink. Because somewhere buried deep beneath the royal armor, he was still the boy who held Harry's hand at their mother's funeral. Still the older brother who protected him from bullies, bad press, and broken hearts. But those days felt centuries away now. "I don't trust you anymore," William said flatly. Harry nodded. "I don't trust me either." That admission, raw and guarded, honest, hung in the air like incense. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but something real, and that was more than either of them had offered each other. In years, after what insiders later called the most emotionally excruciating hour of their lives, the brothers parted ways. No handshakes, no hugs, but Harry said 5 final words before leaving. "Please, don't give up on me." William didn't answer. He just watched his brother disappear down the corridor, shoulders slumped, head low. And for the first time in years, he didn't hate him. Meanwhile, outside the palace walls, the world was already spiraling from another surprise. While Harry and William spoke, a legal team representing Tyler Perry issued an emergency statement. Due to growing backlash and threats, Mr. Perry will no longer be releasing any further material. He has said all he intended to say, and just like that, the curtain dropped on the most explosive expose of the decade. But questions still lingered. Who leaked the Dropbox links? Why did Perry go rogue in the first place? Was he manipulated by someone behind the scenes? Some insiders whispered that Perry wasn't acting alone, that someone, perhaps a former royal staffer or Hollywood insider, had pressured him to set the record straight. But Perry refused all interviews, all calls, all emails, as if he'd lit the match, then disappeared into the smoke. As for Meghan, she broke her silence 3 days later with a carefully worded statement posted on Archewell's site. "I am deeply saddened by the unauthorized release of private conversations. While I stand by my right to speak my truth, I never intended for these recordings to reach the public." But by then, the damage was done. Her podcast deal was officially canceled. A Netflix spin-off project was quietly shelved. Hollywood, once enamored with the royal rebel, now moved cautiously. Meghan, once the crown jewel of celebrity victimhood, had become a controversial figure shrouded in suspicion. Yet, amidst all the noise, the most heartbreaking change was in Harry himself. Those closest to him said he was a man unraveling. He canceled upcoming appearances, stopped returning calls. One close friend said he now spends hours watching old home videos of Diana, trying to remember who he used to be. Another said he's begun therapy again, this time not just for grief, but for identity loss, and the royals, they regrouped. Quietly, strategically, Charles issued a vague but firm Christmas message weeks later about truth, trust, and togetherness, pointedly leaving Harry and Meghan out of all photo montages. William returned to public duties with renewed stoicism, his jaw more set, his smile more forced. But the real shift came when palace sources confirmed that Harry and Meghan would no longer be welcome at any official royal engagements in 2026. In short, exile was complete, but not everything was lost. For beneath the rubble of their fallen brotherhood, that moment in the palace when Harry said, "I don't trust me either," had planted a seed, not of reconciliation, not yet, but of something far more powerful than forgiveness, hope, and as the world moved on, as new headlines emerged, as royal drama faded into other scandals, that hope remained fragile, bruised, but breathing. Because no matter what tapes were dropped, no matter how many truths shattered under the weight of public opinion, blood still ran thicker than betrayal. And somewhere, beyond the glare of paparazzi, Maybe, just maybe, two brothers were finding their way back to something real. Even if the cameras never caught it, even if the world never saw it, even if all they had left was each other. So now we're left with the royal family more fractured than ever, reputations bruised, secrets spilled, and the once close bond between two brothers hanging by a single, fragile thread. Prince Harry's desperate dash back to the UK, Tyler Perry's shocking betrayal, and the tsunami of leak tapes have turned the House of Windsor into a global soap opera, one more dramatic than The Crown could ever dream of writing. Meghan's silence spoke louder than any press release. William's cold fury shook the very foundations of Kensington, and Harry. He's caught between two worlds, one he tried to escape and one he may no longer be welcome in. As the dust begins to settle, the public is left wondering, is this truly the end of the Sussex saga? Or is it just the beginning of something even darker? There are still so many questions that remain. Will more tapes surface, despite Tyler Perry's sudden silence? Will Harry and Meghan ever truly reconcile with the royals? Has permanent exile become their only path forward? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, did Harry lose everything in his pursuit to protect the one person he loved the most? Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Tyler Perry was justified in exposing the tapes? Was Harry set up, or was he complicit? And can the royal family ever be whole again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading every single one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next royal twist, bombshell, or betrayal. Because if this scandal taught us anything, it's that in the world of royalty, the truth is never what it seems. Until next time, keep your crown on tight. The drama is far from over.